Hi, everyone. Welcome to a watch along for the Doha Diamond League. Already in progress right now. I'm looking, look like an invitation for a men's 100 meter on the track right now, or possibly a lower ranking event. The men's discus wrapping up there. I was trying to follow it on another stream as well. So multiple things happening. Our time 12:04, the first real track event starts, which will be the women's 400 meters, and I'll get to a preview of that. But most exciting for this Diamond League, because the Diamond League always serves up really great competition, a lot of world-class athletes on display. And importantly, I think many of us around the world, regardless of your affiliation and so on, are looking forward to see the great Shelly and Fraser Pryce touch the track. And that will be happening in maybe an hour or so. And most excited to see Fraser Pryce and her, how fit she is and what she's able to do. It's going to be good competition, and I'll do a little quick preview of that as well. But yeah, just a watch along as usual. And later on, we'll be doing a good live tonight. We'll be back live as well to do a recap. Tons of track and field activity happening, college stuff happening, championship, regional championships for the conference championships, rather, Big 12, SEC, Big 10, all that stuff happening. And yeah, so we're looking forward to what would be a great event. I think the men's discus wrapped up, and I was following it. Unfortunately, I don't think they've been doing the series correctly on the Diamond League website, but I'll take a quick review of that in a second, just to the final details of that, which ended up with Denny winning from Australia 67.33 ahead of Christian Che, who's in a season best at 66.92 there, and Sam Mattis from the United States 64.28. Decent competition there as well. Daniel Stahl was there as well, along with Frederick Dakers and Lawrence Okio. Every time I looked at my screen, he was hitting the he was throwing into the barrier. So I don't know what happened there. I wasn't fully following all of that stuff, but yeah, thanks everyone for joining. But I want to, probably preview what we should anticipate later on from, maybe let's go to the great Shelly and Fraser Pryce. I don't know what we'll get. It seems very windy there in Doha at the moment. It could obviously change, and I'm not quite sure the direction of the wind that will be benefiting the athletes here. There's a 100-meter event on track right now, which is, I believe, for like Asian athletes. So if they put up a wind reading, then we might be able to guesstimate what we'll get. I'm not quite sure. But I was very intrigued by Fraser Pryce's interview yesterday when she talked about maybe a 15-minute chat they had with her, and being in the sport this long, and some of the things that she's looking forward to. And the thing that I took away from it was the kind of passion and joy is still evident, right? She spoke with unmistakable energy, if you ask me. And it's clear she still loves the sport. She has to, if she's still competing at this age with nothing to prove. There were some good questions there being asked of her, and balancing family and sport and how that works. And she gave a little bit of insight in her relationship with her, things she misses because of being a professional athlete, but still managing to do all of that. And maybe from a perspective of what it means to complete a season this year, is her appreciation for the 2025 schedule, in the sense that the World Championship comes at the end, and it's the only thing to look at, and she could properly peak for that. And as she's been doing over the last few years, I guess maybe the last couple of years, she had been suffering with some injury, but prior to that, she started to think much more smartly about the management of her schedule. So smarter race management, how you approach a season differently, being very selective in terms of the races, and also in terms of training, listening to the body, making the kind of adjustments necessary there. So those are some things that came out of the interview that I thought that, shows like a world-class athlete. How are you doing, Debbie? And hopefully you're getting a chance to watch Diamond League in a second here. And the idea that she maybe the takeaway is to finish on our own terms, right? More than anything else, I believe an athlete of that stature wants to finish on the terms they want to, right? You never always get to write the fairy tale ending, but I think she's fully focused, fully. Uh, I'm also satisfied with probably where she is at the moment and trying to exit the sport the way maybe she came into, right? Which would be very difficult, but I think she is steely eyed, very determined, and kind of underscores the kind of athlete we know she is, right? So yeah. So that will come up in in later on in the program. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Munjinga Kambunchi is also in that race. A bunch of Jamaican athletes as well, the likes of the Clayton twins are there. I think Natasha Morrison is also in the mix. Van der Verken is also there. Had a really good indoor season. Patricia Van der Verken. So let's see what we get there. Also, Zoe Hobbs, who we know, came on the scene, the New Zealand athlete. So I'm not. It's very hard to kind of judge the shape of many of these athletes. They haven't really recorded official times. I mean, we know Fraser Pryce did that. We needed time there, but we'll get to see that later on. Yeah. Yeah. So top bar price. The 100-meter comes up at I think around 12:36 Eastern Standard Time. Not quite sure where you're at right now, but that's when that comes up in a second there. Yeah. And yeah. Number of events there. I think we'll get to see an interesting 400-meter race with women that will start track and field events. I think that's a very strong field in the 400 meters assembled here at the Diamond League. Standard performer obviously is NASA already with a sub 40 9-second clocking this year, 48.67. Great running in the Grand Slam track. We saw her in a race in the DR, I think, before that. So she's been running fabulously well. A very, very quick start to her season. But the likes of Lika Klava will be on the track. We'll wait to see what we get from the likes of Sade Williams from Barbados. And interesting move by Maloney from St. Vincent to move down a bit, perhaps to get a bit of speed work. One of the Nielsen twins are also in that race as well. And yeah, I suspect that Alison Felix is meet record from 2008 might be under threat if NASA decides to get out aggressively, if she decides to run as hard as we've been seeing her over these past few weeks. I'm very also I've been on record to say that because the season's so long, and I'm not saying that people that won't manage the season well, but when you get out of the gate and start running some really fabulous times, only a few things come to my mind. Can you sustain this? Can you go back down and come back up in time for the World Championship? Or are you showcasing that you're going to do something even more impressive by the time we get to the World Championships? So that's the kind of interesting stuff. And I think a few athletes are in that mix right now, the likes of Anassa. If we go back to the last Diamond League, Cordell Tinch running at 12:87, you start to think like, whoa, those are some impressive things really early. And what will that mean for a long season? Yeah. What's going on, everybody? In terms of watching the Diamond League, I'm not quite sure where you can watch that. I think if you're in the United States, FlowTrack has the subscription rights, so they're streaming it on their platforms. And unlike when Peacock had it, they allow you to get a bunch of different stuff as well, so you can see the different streams. I don't know where, depending on where you are, I'm not quite sure where you'll find it. Yeah, and this is just kind of a chat and watch. Hopefully you can find it. I don't know if World Athletics has it. Well, I don't know if I don't know. I haven't looked to see where you can find it. I think the rights are for this varies depending on where you are. Yeah. So Mindset, good to see you coming in from London. And it depends on where you are, DeAndre. Yeah. Good to see you, Vivek. But I'm not streaming on the channel. That's copyright violation there. So yeah, so that was my take on what we'll see first at 400 meters. I'm also intrigued for the 110-meter hurdles to see the likes of a Rashid Broadbell there, fresh off of his third place finish in that race recently. I expect good running from Daniel Roberts, obviously Olympic silver medalist as well, and Jamal Britt should be decent. We'll get to see Simonelli. I don't know what we'll get from him. We haven't seen him open yet. Really good, interesting feel. I think Eopis is there as well, so it should deliver a good race. Three of the three finalists from Paris Olympics are there. How fast they'll go tonight, we'll get to figure that out. I suspect no one will touch the 1287 that Tinch did recently, but we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who has the rights in the Bahamas. Yeah, yeah. Cool. So yeah, so I think on track now they already had the women's 400 meters. I think they're introducing them right now. We'll get to see. I expect NASA to win this really easily. I don't think that's a big surprise. She's been really, really good all season, and maybe staking a claim to reclaim that 400-meter title come Tokyo. Mindset is saying it's interesting. Shelly is saying basically she's really good. She's felt she is what? Oh, she's the best she's felt in 3 years. It's probably true because if you think about it, she had suffered that injury into Budapest, and last year she also was, she had that niggle as well. So it's good if she's not. She did say it, and I saw the interview. If she's healthy, that's always good. But I don't know what the expectations are. I just want to see what we get today. I'm just intrigued. Uh, I, I believe them when they say they'll manage the season well enough. I think she's on course to wanting to make a Jamaica team and end the career the way she wants it. I think that's what we'll get from her. How fast that is this season, I'm not quite sure. Tomorrow night, I think into Sunday morning, we'll get to see the likes of Shakara Richardson, who's running in Japan. I was thinking of doing a watch along for that, but that's probably too early, too much. Tomorrow we'll see a lot of good stuff too. There's the Adidas games and so on, So yeah. So George, the women's 100 meter, I'm rooting for Tia so bad. She's gonna be top of the night. That would be great. I mean, I said no one will. I don't think we can't rule that out for sure. I think we'll see what we get. That's coming up soon. Yeah. Do you think Shelly is in sub 11 form right now? Not sure. Possibly. I mean, what was it? She did run that win aided thing in Jamaica. I can't remember what the win was, but it was like 2.5. I have to check again, but it depends on the conditions, I suspect. Is it important to go sub 11 right now? I think we're getting to that stage. It doesn't have to be very, very fast. It could be in around a mix. If you get a 10-9 legally, I think that would be you would be happy with that, as long as you can build up moving forward. Yeah. All right, so the 400 meters on the track right now. Already, I think NASA is up on. I think that's Lika Klava. Oh, she's eating up the track already. I mean, everybody she's flown past, she's gonna get towards the 200 meter right now. Already up on Williams as well. NASA is like leading this really good. But Maloney's running a really good bend as well. I don't think that's going to be good enough. Yeah. So NASA is like 4 or 5 meters ahead of everybody already. I mean, it's just like a walk in the park for her. I think she's gonna go. This is gonna be a 49 run, 50. Yeah, 49.84 run here from NASA. Yeah. But really, really classy running from her. Ahead of Bukowiecka, and I have to see the result. I'm not quite sure who came in for third. Yeah. So that's an equal of the meeting record from Felix. Clava came in third at 51.12. Williams 51.32. But NASA was running the backstretch relaxed and yeah, not as hard as we've seen her run recent times. But I don't know if the wind played a role in that or it's just because you got to be careful of how fast you're going. But Bukowiecka came good. Lika Klava was there, but it was all NASA by herself. Took a while before the others even got into the picture. I don't know where you can see German, to be honest with you. Yeah. As for Tobogo, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll get to see Let's see and what he's is capable of. Just a quick shot here of Tia Lafon right now, the Olympic champion, fresh off a surgery earlier this year. Ooh, that's above 14 meters, it looks like, if it's legit. She got a lot of space left on the board. A good 10 centimeter gap here for Lafond. Yeah. Kind of swifting to the right, almost stepping out of the track when she's like sprinting down, unless the camera angle is good. But that's a legitimate jump, 14.29. Yeah. And Ricketts from Jamaica is next on the runway here. Let's take a look in a second. As for Tobogo, I don't know. I mean, I suspect he'll try to maybe, a 9. Ooh, it's a good jump there as well from Ricketts. Probably in the mid to low 14s there. They switched the camera angle on me, so I don't really. Oh, that might be a 14.5 or so. 14.30, it looks like. Yeah. Way 14 cm on the gap on the board. So a lot of working out or ironing out the runway here. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what we'll get from him. I suspect he'll run sub 20 for sure. He looks like he's in that kind of shape. He's been doing a few of those 100 meters recently. Not the best execution, but early in the season ran some decent 400 meters. So I think the background work is there. Yeah, he's golden, Oh, exciting! Good for NASA. Do you think she will podium last year? Or she was silver. I wonder will Gabby Thomas run a 4x4? Possibly. So the answer to the last question, I suspect the way the US does their thing, Thomas and Sidney McLaughlin will get on the team regardless, and they go to their relay camps. It's part of their structure there. NASA, I think she might win the. I don't know. Actually, maybe going in, you have to say she's the favorite right now, even though you can't really call a favorite on May 16. But podium for sure, and possibly will win it. Yeah. But it's hard to say because I think what we saw in the last Grand Slam thing there, when Paulina came back into the mix. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take that back. I can. It's hard to bet against Paulina to be honest with you. But it's also still too early for me. Yeah. Vanzel, what's going on, Ferdinand? It was a long time. Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you. Hopefully, you're enjoying stuff there in South Africa. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I have to wait some more. I think what I will say is, I think for the first time, you could end up with needing really, really low 48s or mid to low 48s to even come anywhere on the top four of the podium. And that's the beauty about the women's 400 meters. They're trending in an interesting direction. So I don't know. John Epic, yes, if Shelly does sub 11, hopefully the twin turbos follow. Yeah, it would be nice to see that kind of running. The world lead right now, I believe, unless it's changed from some collegiate athlete that I haven't looked at in the last couple of minutes, is still what 1098 legal, I think. So we'll see. Yeah. Women pole vault still going on now. It's just warming up, so we'll see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think you can't counter her out though. I think Paulina's thinking about a long-term season. I think we'll see her. We'll see. I guess there's a bunch of people I want to see as well. And what's the state of Adalike? Is she really going to take that 400 meters seriously? Obviously, Pryce from Jamaica. I'd like to see. Alexis Holmes. There's the women's 400 meters stack, Yeah, yeah. Ferdinand is betting a 1996 for Let's See, so we'll see. All right. So I think next on the track is what men's 800 meters. Bryce Hoppel is in the mix. This is a good race. It should be good. I mean, there's not a lot of great running so far in the 800 meters to judge from, but I think it should be good. I think it's gonna be competitive space. I think Masalala will do something. Kinimal is also in the race. I want to see what Bryce Hoppel can do. Obviously, if you're Bryce Hoppel, you're probably the most disappointed athlete on the planet to run a 141 and can't even medal at the Olympic Games. This is how the 800 meters are just going into outrageous type of running these days. Yeah. Outrageous type of running these days. So I want to see what Hopper does though. But Kinemal and the Botswanan athlete, I think as well. I think he'll be good. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how much they asked to take it out on, to be honest with you. But there's the wave light technology right now as well. So the pacer just got up to the front, it looks like. But Hopple is probably in what, fourth position or third position if you exclude the pacer right now. Let's see what they go through. If they get it, if they get to anywhere like 49, like 49.9 or 50, let's see. They go around in 49.5, so that's pretty good. So this should be fast if these guys can step on it. It's good kick, good. Why are you showing the crowd? All right. So I think Hoppel is in the back right now. So it's Kinemal and the Hoppel is trying to find he's being boxed in a bit right now, but Masalele is stepping up right now. Now it's time for these guys to start to kick. It's like a 120 something or 119 at 600, it looks like. Yeah, Masalele is moving right now. Hoppel is trying to go on the outside. He doesn't have does he have this kick in it? Nah. Masalele right there. Ahead of Hoppel, it looks like, and Kinema. It's like 143.11. That's really, really good. Fantastic running there. But the way he ran that was really good as well. We'll have to see it again, but tactically that was a good run. Hoppel got boxed in a bit there. I don't know if he had enough to even challenge Masalele, but I like what I'm seeing from this kid. 143.11. Really good running. Look at this. Yeah, on the backstretch, Keeneman made a real attempt there, but you could see him huffing and puffing. Masala just looked really in ease, strides ahead of him on the curve rather, not on the backstretch. Sorry. And then Hoppel is trying to make a way to get into the race. I don't think he could have challenged Masalela tonight at all. Look at that. He's just like stepping, he's gliding. The arm movements are still strong. Yeah, this kid is good. He could have run much faster too. I like him. Yeah. Sophisticated says, go Hoppel. I see what's going on. Doha is hot. I expect good performances. Yeah, it should be. It was very windy earlier. When the broadcast started, you could see how the pole vault thing was just like moving. So I think that can be problematic for a few. But world leading time here, 43:11, 43:26 for Bryce. I don't think he'd be upset with that. Maybe tactically, I don't think he ran his best race, but that was a good performance there. Go Hoppel mindset says using a rabbit never gets old. Really sets the pace. I suspect with the wave light now, I wonder if you still really need that human pace setter, but you kinda, especially if you want, you want to make sure that someone can step out on that. But yeah. Ferdinand also said Isabel Whitaker is the athlete to watch this year. I like her a lot, Isabella there. I think she's good. We'll see what we get from her. I like her. Really, really, really interesting athlete. Had a really good indoor season earlier as well. Yeah. 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 Just plumbing. How you doing? I messed some of these comments. I apologize, guys. I'm glad that my producer got on some of these answers already. Yeah. Yeah, steeplechase is at 1:44 Eastern Standard Time. And Shelly's running at 12. I'll have to check in a second. I think the next thing on the track will be the women's, will be the 110 hurdles. So that's coming up at 12:24 Eastern Standard Time. And after that will be the women's 100-meter final. And while I'm doing it, let me get a quick check if I can on the pole vault here. I don't like what they're doing. Okay. So right now, Ricketts still in the lead in the women's triple jump, rather. 14:30. And that 14:30 was into a negative wind there, into a headwind of 1.9. And Tia LaFun, her 14:29 was in the other direction, positive 5.2. So seems as if the winds are moving. Interesting. Ricketts did a 14:72 in a 3.2 win as well. So the wind seems to be going in different directions. It seemed like early on some of the athletes had some headwind, and then it switched to tailwind. So yeah, I guess that's what you get in the desert. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll be back again tonight for sure. We're gonna do a good wrap up. A lot to talk about. There's some other stuff I want to talk about too in track and field. So, don't we'll put that out as well. There's a shot there of the great Shelly and Fraser Pryce in the call room, slapping her thighs a little bit. Always a smile. Munjinga is there. There's a shot of McCoy. It looks like Morrison's out. So it's McCoy will take her spot for the women's 100 meters. Guillaume, they're here in the triple jump. I don't know what this is. She already had a 13:72. I'm not that lots of space on the board too. It's probably not much better than our first jump. Looks closer to 14 meters. Okay, that moved to 1420. I'm sorry. But actually, yeah, a lot of the wind is in the other direction. Let's see where we are. Let me get back to some of these comments here. Thanks, Sports. What are your feelings on Shakar opening up her season on Sunday? We'll see. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see a lot of these athletes starting to get on the track. I have no idea what we'll get from Richards. Uh, let me just look at TLF Fun right here. This looks good there. Anyway, yeah. Ooh, she didn't even hit the board on this. So everything is she's all over the place here, Tia. But looks like there's still a second place jump there. Okay, yeah, back to Shakari. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Mindset. Coaching is evolving. Athletes seems to be capable to repeat more than one time for the year. No, it's true. I think it was always the case that you could peak multiple times of the year. It just depends on, like, I remember when I did USA track and field level one coaching some years ago, and they were talking about, like, it's this the kind of art and science of coaching, and they're like, some people think that once you get the athlete to prime shape, you can actually hold peaks for weeks, for a very long time, where it's just about like load versus intensity and all that kind of stuff. And some people, they have philosophies of, like, we'll get them to a point where it's good enough for, like, getting to a championship to qualify and then move to be your best at a major championship. Yeah, I think that part of the coaching is always been there. The thing that's been improving, obviously, is like the science of, like, personalizing individual training programs better and monitoring athletes. And then obviously there's, like, stuff on transition and the spikes and improvements there, and some of the surfaces have improved, obviously. And in the distance stuff too, you get it with the shoe as well, and also the gels and so on. But yeah, they are introducing the guys for the 110-meter hurdles. Broadwell, Britt, Roberts, all in the middle there, along with Simonelli. I'm interested to see what we get for him. Interesting that Yapis gets a lane 8 here. Maybe he asked for that lane, but for his caliber, I would imagine he should have been somewhere else, somewhere more closer to the middle. I'll get back to some of your comments in a second, guys. Let me just watch this race and see what we get from these guys. I suspect no one's challenging the 1287 this evening. This is ridiculous from Cordell Tinch recently. I don't think he thought he was going to even be in that kind of shape. All right, they're all settled right now. Looks like a clean start. Look like Roberts first. Yeah, Broadbed left behind, but Roberts also crashed a few hurdles and he's lost everything. Broadbed looks like he's in the lead. He's gonna win this. Rashid Broadbed takes this 13.15. It seems like in a 1.1 win, so that's really good from Rashid Broadbell there, ahead of Britt. It seems like, and Yapis and perhaps Martinez. Got to look at that again. Roberts had a really good start, but then he started to crash into hurdles. And once you do that, you're looking at problems. So 13:14 official time for Broadbell. Let's see. Yeah. Roberts got out really well. I wish I could get a side angle on this. So, and then he crashed into maybe hurdle 3 or 4, it looks like. And then he crashed into some more, lost all his momentum. But Broadbell got into better running there. Dipped a little bit too early, but comfortably winning. So the big Jamaican there winning, feeling good about it, it seems like. 13, 14 at this start time of the year, 1.1 win. Really good running there. Yeah, so it's ahead of Brit 1325, Iapis 1327, Martinez 1342, Simonelli 1344. Really good running. All right, let's really let me get back to some of these comments that I missed. I'll try to get. Do you think Shikari is in so? I don't know what kind of form she's in, to be honest with you. So Molly Caudry there just going over what it looks like as 475 in the pole vault. Yeah, apparently she has a hamstring injury, I think, for Morrison there. A good point there. I see. Yeah, she could spoil a party, but we'll see. I don't know. I have no idea mindset. Those are hard questions to answer because I don't know the kind of shape Lyles is in, right? We saw him in the 400. He ran a PB, but he hadn't run a 400 meters for a very long time. He huffed. I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I say Ophelia is breaking the women's 150 record tomorrow. Mark my words. I like. Mm, all right. We'll wait to see. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on here. Mindset is said Broadbell never gets flustered easily. He always seems to have great end to his races. I think he's possibly one of the best finishers in the race. Perhaps maybe Parchment at his best is always better at the last. I would say 4 hurdles to the end. I think the greatest to the first 8 is obviously Grant Holloway, and then if you're with him there, you could put pressure on him. No one really gets it perfectly well. I still think Broadbell first phase of his race a lot to be desired, but if he can get that part ready, the way he finishes races, I suspect will always. If he gets that ready, I think he can go to a next dimension. Right now, he's one of the athletes that can win on any given day as well. But it's a very competitive space in 110 hurdles. Not quite as competitive as in the women's 100-meter hurdles, but pretty competitive there. Yeah. I know you're doing that. Yeah, I know you're doing that. But it makes us think. It starts to make you think about like what mindset, what we might anticipate from athletes here. Shanika Ricketts looks good. Looks like she's in good shape. Already leading with 1472. Let's see what we get here. That was win aided, obviously. That's not a good jump. Yeah. All right. Women's 100 meters gonna be next on the track, I think. In another 6 minutes or so. I just want to see this result again for the 110 meters. Yeah. They haven't updated the full. I was looking to see. I want to see like if they had like the phases by every hurdle, but they haven't provided it. All right, so it's gonna be McCoy, then Van der Werken, Clayton, Kambunji, who's always in the mix at major championships. Munjinga, that is. You could see Tia Lafon here running hard, but down the runway, but not good enough. She's leaning too much over to the right side as well. Her right. Could be just still early season for her. And then we must remember she had that surgery. She did show up to try and defend her title at the World Indoor Championships, which was her first competitive affair. So I think what we get from Lafon is going to be an athlete that probably gets better as the season progresses. which probably is for most athletes at this stage anyway. Yeah, so it's going to be McCoy, Van der Verken, Clayton, Kambunji, Fraser Pryce, Hobbs, Hunt, and then Tina Clayton. Competitive feel, obviously, all eyes are going to be on the greatest 100-meter runner we've ever seen. Good call on the Tinch. Oh, yeah, that world lead is safe, I think. I don't know if anybody's going to run a 12:87 by the end of the season, to be honest with you. Yeah. Let's see where we are. Yeah, so that I was gonna talk about that earlier, not earlier, but tonight though. So Beck Romanchuk, Beck Romanchuk, she was provisionally suspended from the Athletics Integrity Unit yesterday for suspected testosterone doping. So apparently there's elevated levels of testosterone. She was listed to perform at the Doha meet here, and along with there's two provisional suspensions. Let me make that clear. It's not bans, it's suspensions. The Yeah, and then there is a ban, I think, too, for the Kenyan athlete for Kipiegan, Nehemiah Kipiegan. But Bekramanchuk is I think it's a testosterone thing. Yeah, yeah. Just Plumbing is saying we're gonna get a 1080 from Fraser Pryce. Yeah. Simbin is doing really great. Interesting to see how well he maintains that form. That would be a good one for Akini Simbili. I think Sambini is in fabulous shape right now. It's a different kind of season too, in the sense that he showed up at the World Indoor Championships, something he never did before, if my memory serves me correctly. And I think he's the elder statesman of sprinting right now. So it begs the question about management, right? He has to at some point selectively pick these races. But back to this women's 100 meters. Let's see, Shelly and Fraser Pryce in the middle here. So they're just introducing the athletes. The Liberian athlete McCoy, that was a 11:02 her best, and Van der Verken also had a good indoor season. Then Tia Clayton. And then Munjingi Kambunji. I always have a lot of time for Munjinga. I like her sister too, Ditajish. Very good at hurdler. And then Fraser Pryce. And Zoe Hobbs here. Burst on the scene a few years ago. Speaking of bands, if you're in a tennis guy, you see Yannick Sinner is going to play Alcaraz into the final, back from his 3-month suspension there. And then Tina Clayton out in lane 8. Let's see. Yeah, tomorrow is going to be yeah, it's going to be crazy tomorrow. Yeah. Robert is saying, I think Tia will win this race. I do expect a major explosion from one of these, from one of these Clayton twins this season for sure. Hopefully both, but it would be nice to see a 10-7 from one of them as the season progresses. It's a clean start. Fraser Pryce is out really well as usual, but not the best. She's not going to win this. I think Tia Clayton is going to win this comfortably. Oh, who is Tia Clayton? World lead 1092. Fraser Pryce wasn't really in the mix, and it's it looks like the other um Clayton twin may be out there, and it's like I couldn't figure that out. Looks like world lead equaling, well, not equaling, but world lead for Tia Clayton 1092 at positive wind of 2 meters per second, so just at the allowable level. Fraser Price didn't get the greatest start ever that we used to. She just got out, but she was still ahead at this moment. I would like to see a side on handle. But Clayton is moving well. Tia, that is. And then Tina out in lane 8 starts the motor as well. But Hunt is there. I don't know. I got to see that's a photo finish needed there. So it's Clayton, Hunt. It looks like Clayton, Hunt, Fraser Price. Yeah. So it's 1092 for Tia Clayton, 1102 for Tina Clayton, Hunt 1103, and Fraser Price 1105, I think, or 4. Just a quick high jump here. Beckford from Jamaica now about to attempt at 220. He crashes into 220. Didn't get enough lift there. Yeah. So he has to fix that again. But back to this race here, I got to see. Yeah, John, you did tell us, and you're right. Uh, Vernon Marshall is saying Sienna ban was a joke. A ban is to stop you from making money, and he didn't miss any. I did do a video on this earlier. I think this wasn't necessarily a ban, just to go off the script a little bit. I know it's a track and field live, but it was more of an agreement. I think it was something that help WADA for future. They didn't want us to go to court for arbitration for sport, so I think they came to a compromise on that. Yeah, but we could get into that another time. Tina was strong too. Yeah, I agree on that. I didn't even look at her in the picture at first because she was out there in lane 8. But yeah, congrats, sophisticated is saying, mindset is saying explosive from Tia, and it's win legal. It's at the end of the allowable, but they'll take it. It's legal. Yeah, objectivity. Howdy to you as well. Ferdinand is saying it's first indoors for Simbini. He has 46 sub 10 nows. Now Mr. Consistency himself. Yeah, it is. Akini Simbini is on top of stuff right now. No one gives away these medals at major championships, but most people, if you are longtime followers of the sport, wouldn't be upset if Akini Simbini gets a world championship medal. He has to work for it, and hopefully he's in shape. He's always this close and never quite getting these major championship medals, so we'll see. Robert Tia will win the race. I think I got to that before. Yeah. Sophisticated. Didn't expect Shelly to get fourth. Just glad she's healthy. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect either, to be honest with you. I don't think it's the most explosive start we've seen. She got a decent start, but the transition look okay. But I have to look at the race slow down some more later on, and just didn't have the kind of thing in the legs that you would anticipate. But But if she's healthy, that's the first step. I think that's a measuring stick for where they need to be, and I think for all athletes. I'm not trying to make excuses for her in particular. I see African athletes are the whipping athletes of AIU. I know you think so. I think it's an interesting kind of situation. A lot of the suspensions are coming that way, but they come other places too, right? The question is how I don't know where the line of angle is going there, but it's yeah. Sometimes it's the structures that are in place, obviously, for where you get caught and all of that stuff. And yeah, we can talk to that. Tia's first 100 season. No, I think Tia. I mean, historically, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see. I think the twins are really great talent. They are being handled by uh, one of the very best, so I suspect they'll be fine. What was Shelly's time? I think it was 11:05. Let me try to get that up in a second. If we can put up the results of the 100 meters. Uh, I thought we had it up before, but I guess we didn't. It I don't know why it's not showing the results. On my end, I'm not getting the update again. I don't know what's happening. The Doha thing has been messing around in terms of giving accurate information. Yeah. Yeah, the results are not showing up right now. I don't They've been messing around with the live results, so I don't know what to say for that. But I think it was 11:05 or 11:04. Yeah. But it was the Claytons, Hunt, and Fraser Pryce. Yeah. Sibako is saying expecting a lot from Let's See Lituboga in the 200 meters. What is a lot for you? I expect him to win. I think Let's See Lituboga is. I think he's gonna start probably favorites for the World Championships. We'll see. I mean, obviously others will have a say, but in terms of talent and ability and his ceiling is certainly really high. I could see Let's See Lituboga. His next step is to probably get into the 19.3s and somewhere around there. I I think I've said on record a number of times that I would love to see him attempt a 2-4 double and move away from the 100 meters, but no one wants to move away from the 100 meters. Everybody, it's the glamour event in the sport, and he's also very good at it too. So why should he? But as an athlete, he is a fabulous talent. We've seen this over how many years, and it's going to be competitive 200 meters, obviously. Much of that too, I also think depend. What I like about the 200 meters as well is the guys that we think will be a competitive over for the medals are outside of maybe a Aaron Knighton who hasn't kicked on recently, but Kenny Bednarik, obviously, defending champion Noah Lyles and Olympic champion, let's see, Lituboga here. They're all pushing for the double. So the in terms of the freshness, and all of them will be in similar state, I would suspect. So there's nothing to say one is resting more than the other. So it's going to be a fabulous 200 meters come end of year. Tobago is just too is I don't know what to predict in terms of what he'll run tonight, but I expect him to win, to be gunning for the gold medal come September. We can't give it out yet, but he's gonna be in the mix. Mindset is not disappointed. Yeah, I don't think anybody should be disappointed in a run like this. Yeah, and plus she's not she's an elder stateswoman. She's doing things beyond what we should see. Yeah. Vernon, it's true the American runner who supplied the drugs is not banned. Yeah. Let's see where we are. Vernon said, respect and blessings to all. Got to go. Yeah. See, catch you next time. Catch you next time. Uh, Serious saying the 5,000 meters on track, guys. I totally uh, messed up on that. I can come back and look at that later. I see you're saying good performances from the twins, but how long can these performances last when the big three peak. What you mean, the Jamaican big three? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to expect. I don't think we should count out the twins. I mean, one of them is an Olympic finalist, right? I think the expectation is that to see the twins go up. Their graph for is trending the other way. Uh, we'll have to see what we get from Sharika Jackson, but the anticipation is that she may not double. Who knows? We'll see if they stick to that, and we have to see what Elaine offers. And I think Fraser at Pryce. I've said this before. There's a set of Jamaican women that should be coming through that should be retiring these athletes, right? In the sense that they should be saying your time has come, and that's good progress. I'm not saying people should leave the sport before, but and I want to see what we can get from Alana Reid. I still think Brianna Williams has something there, especially a full year on the John Smith. Where else? You got Brianna Liston. I don't know what we'll get. She's turning pro. Crystal Slowly. There's a space for interesting times. I think we shouldn't. I think there's nothing for granted. Not granted. There's no. We can't like deliver these spots and think that the big three or whatever however we want to classify them, they're not given. In fact, there's nobody with a bye in 100 meters except for the 200 meters. Jackson has a bye. The bye belongs to Shakari. I suspect if you win the Diamond League, you can get the bye. So if you're a Jamaican athlete, you might want to win the 100-meter Diamond League in order to secure that position. Yeah. Belma says you doubted that Tia would go sub 11. Objectively say hit the like button. Appreciate that. Mindset is Talu healthy and running? Has she? I haven't seen Talu, to be honest with you. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, and she also too is up in age, right? So they have to be very selective. Yeah, and it's gonna be great this year. I think Julian Alfred she's gonna destroy some different times this year as well. I think she's moving. Yeah, I don't know what you'll get from Julian Alfred, but already at 21.8, really good time over 300 meters. When she did that in Florida, I know it's in Florida and the conditions are different, but we should anticipate will only get much better. So it's a great time to be alive. I mean, you start to see transitions in sport. Ferdinand is saying, I'm just happy Shelly is back on the track. Yeah, I think so. I think this is a year for her to. And I think she could, knowing Shelly and Fraser Pryce, she's probably going to make the Jamaica team. That's how good she is. She might, but you hope if she's making it, it's because there's some top times being run. That's the thing. Objectivity agrees here. John says Tina from Lane. That's the talking point. I think it is because I never even, didn't even look at the thing. Right? I was like, it's only when I kind of took my eye on that point where we saw her, and interesting. If both of them can start running something fabulous, then it would be great, right? It would be good. I think at least one of them should be going towards a 10-7 this year, and maybe I don't know what shape they'll end up being in at the end by the time we get to the business end of the season. But that's what we want, right? You want to see. I think they're capable of running really fast times. Yeah. How are you doing, Shamar? Good to see you. Sophisticated Kung Fu Ken is on fire. Can't wait to see Tiboga, especially since he skipped relays. I mean, yeah, the whole Botswana thing at the World Relays is another challenge. I think where they are in this 5,000 meters, it's like 5:24, 5 minutes 26. So still got some time there. Probably halfway through. Let me get back to your comments here. Considering that Tia made the Olympic final last year and has a world lead here among her other good performances, what do you think of her transition to pro so far? I think good. They're young, and it's not easy to transition. They could have stayed in high school longer too, and they didn't. And it's also interesting that they go straight to Francis, who sometimes don't always take superstars out of high school. But yeah, I think last season was a good learning curve for her. I think you have to move on and think that I need to be on a podium. I think they would be thinking that because they're used to winning, all the way up from the junior ranks, right? So we mustn't forget that stuff. But it's not always a guarantee when you get to the top. But they're very young, and to adapt to different environment. It's not also the training, but it's also the maturity and growing up as adults, and living a different life and trying to navigate those things. All of those things hit them at the same time. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what the expectation is. I just think they would have their own personal targets. I suspect if you made the Olympic final last time, you're looking to make a world championship final for sure. And probably getting on a medal podium when you think about the talent level you have. Yeah, I think so, Robert. Tia is now in the big three. Yeah, yeah. Sure, that great run from the sprint queen, Shelly. Yeah, yeah. I guess John is saying Asira has no idea. 10.7 by the here day in 6 weeks to start. Yeah, I really think one of the twins are going to run 10.7 this year. I feel that's how Francis is doing it, right? But can both of them do it? No, that would be something else, right? I don't know. Ferdinand saying Thompson goal 100, Toboga 200, Kenny Silva in both bronze for Simbini will make me happy. So really early calls here. Really early calls. Yeah. I guess if you're Kishane Thompson and you went to the World Relays and you haven't even run yet, it's let's not. I don't want to rehash it right now. Yeah. Belmos is saying it's kind of too. It's too early to say big three. It's not safe to sleep on the older ladies. I think there's a space. I think it's a big tough to say we still have a big three, right? Also, to be honest with you, one we know is on the cusp of retiring and coming back from niggles the last couple of years. Elaine has been injured for a very long time, and we haven't seen a good season from her since. I guess you could say it was a decent season in Oregon because she did land on a medal podium. Just the order was different from the year before, and then it's been movement of coaching and injuries again and movement again. So we'll have to see her first touch the track, and when that happens, then we can accurately judge what we might anticipate. And then Sharika Jackson coming back from the injury, I suspect she'll be fine by the time we get to the busier end of the season. But whether they'll continue doubling, I think there's a suspicion that she might not be. She may have said that. I don't really know the accuracy of that yet, and whether you can actually believe things when when coaches or athletes tell you right away what they might be doing for the rest of the season. So we'll wait a bit on that. But I think there's a space for a number of athletes to come through and stake a claim for a world championship spot. But objectively, I feel like they're my daughters, very proud of their progress. Uh, Sophisticated Santia is coming. Can't wait to see more of her. Didn't see her doing sub 11 yet. Brian, my man, how you doing? Good to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, I've been back a bit, trying to be on this on in the space. Yeah. Ferdinand says he loves Brianna Liston. Uh, Objectivity saying yes, Shelly's progress this season will be a slow build, hopefully to challenge for a medal. Yeah. Sophisticated one says this year is full of excitement rather. Juju, Shelly Twin, Shakari, oh my. No, it's a good space, really good space. Talented athletes everywhere. Yeah. Mindset says I think we'll see 10 sevens from both the twins and Shelly as well. Just my gut feeling. Yeah. And yeah, he probably runs soon. Yeah. Doreen, how you doing? Doing cause how long the twins will last? Who knows how long Merlinati would have lasted? And look at Shelly, and she's still here. Let's sit back and see. No, it's true. I mean, Ati was at 40 when she won a medal at the Olympic Games in Sydney. Obviously, we know all of that kind of stuff that was happening in Sydney. Fraser Pryce, oldest ever to win a world championship medal, technically twice after she came back, a gold medal too at coming back from birth, and then doing it again in in Oregon. I'm just looking at the end here of this 5,000 meters. I just haven't been following it, so I feel bad. There's Tefera, and Lobalo as well. This might be quick though. This is how much they have left. I think this is that final lap. They're at 12:43. This is probably a decent time. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't. Yeah, to stay in the game long requires a lot of stuff, and some of it is luck too. You have to have luck with injury. Chariot is coming right through and blowing past all of these guys. He's gonna win this by a country mile. It won't be anywhere close to a world lead, but it's gonna be like 13.7, 13.60 here. Still good running here for 5,000 meters. A hot night there in Doha, it seems like. So that's actually pretty good. Yeah, for 5,000 meters. Yeah. So Chariot wins this. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. We it's a very tough thing to say, but you have to be lucky sometimes because everyone gets injuries, everyone gets niggles, but some derail you more than others. Yeah, then as you get older, you have to manage yourself differently. You have to change things, and you become increasingly more disciplined the longer you stay in order to recover, rest, recover, do the right things. And then I think above all of that is the kind of motivation you must have. You have to have a motivation to stay, especially if you've been at the mountaintop, right? Sometimes if you haven't won things and you're still chasing something, then perhaps that's a good motivation. But when you are athletes like Elaine Thompson or Shelly and Fraser Pryce or whoever you might be, and you've won everything, you've done some of the greatest things in the sport, to stay and continue requires you to still have a level of hunger that is not the same as the one when you started, but it's still somewhere in the mix. Yeah. Well, I don't know the status of Julian. I mean, if he fell in the second round of the 100 of the relay just on Sunday, I don't know what happens there. Yeah, I don't know what's his status now. Belma says Tia will easily run 10-7 this 10-7. The thing is who will join her in her age group this year. I believe Brianna will set out this year. You mean which Williams or Liston? Yeah. Brian, will be tough for any of the big three to make the podium in any event this year. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough, but I think winning is gonna be hard across the board. Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a hard thing. I haven't been following the Javelin here. I just saw a shot of Neeraj Chopra. I should switch to one of the field events things too, but it's hard to watch and talk to you at the same time. Ooh, what's that? Like 86 throw there or 85 and change for Neeraj Chopra there. Olympic civil medalist last time, Olympic gold medalist from Tokyo. You're getting excited for 10-6. Where are we? All right, this is Peters here, the Grenadian athlete. Let's see what we can get from him. It's a nice throw there. Ooh, that's really good. That's a little bit over 85, it looks like, or just on the 85-meter line. Might be good conditions to throw there. It depends on the direction of the wind. But you could see there's a heavy breeze there. It's just like blowing right through his jersey. So I'm not sure if they're throwing into the wind or it's behind them. But high quality javelin feel on display. High quality javelin feel. Let me just check a check on that. Because I think, yeah, there's Chopra there, obviously. And Peters, those are medalists. Olympic, a bunch of Olympic gold medalists too. Walcott is there. Weber, Vlajek. There's also good stuff here. Yeah, good guys here. Diego is still here, the Kenyan. He hasn't thrown well for a while, but yeah. Max Denin too. Yeah, it's just really good field assembled here for the men's javelin. Yeah. Let's see. Sophisticated. It's gonna be a dogfight. I forgot to mention Melissa Jefferson. Yeah, she's been great form. Twins, Shelly, Shakari, Juju, Gab. Which I don't know if Gabby's gonna run the 100 meters. I don't think so. Walcott also getting a 85-meter mark, or maybe less than that. It seems like so in and around. The man from Toco, Trinidad and Tobago. If you've ever been, it's like really rough waters. Uh, Angela, how you doing? Shelly just need to stay healthy. She seems to be in a better place this year than last. No, she is. She did say too in the interview, she's healthy. It's they're just managing how she races, how she even trains. So she talks about even backing off in training if it doesn't feel good. So I think they're thinking about like how you manage. I think the experiment is hard to do too when you think about it, because the number of athletes that would be running at her age is very small, and I suspect you have to learn. Maybe you call a couple people from yesteryear who ran that long, and you kind of get a sense of how they manage their bodies. But times change as well, so it's about understanding that. And I think an athlete of her caliber, been in the sport for such a long time, this is some things come second nature, and when things don't feel right, I suspect she's mature enough to kind of manage that. Yeah, yeah. Uh, so at some point you have to run super fast, but now is not the time, I don't think. Yeah. Beckford again over 220, clears it. The Jamaican goes over on his third attempt. So, and 220 doesn't seem like a fabulous kind of standard, but it could also be tough conditions out there to jump to. I don't know if the wind is impacting anything. He has a lot of high clearance there, so it's good to see Jamaican field events moving forward too. Mark, how are you doing? Tia will run 1070 this season. Shelly will be ready when championships comes around. Yeah. We hope so. The original BI strong. No woman what? Who made who ran the 2020 100 will make this year's team. Don't be vexed. It's just time. Okay, so yeah, I mean, okay, so you're saying none of them will make it. Interesting. It's but I don't think you could be very well right on that. And sports are, I also think that I try to be judicious to what I say this. I feel like at some point you want fresh talent coming through, because that shows that your transition from junior to senior is working and these athletes are capable of getting up. But we also must remember that we also have those, the reason why we can name them the big three, or we can look at a few athletes who could have come through and may not have made it in different eras, is because of the type of athletes you have. So you're looking at the greatest 100-meter athlete ever. You're looking at, when all is said and done, Jackson's is certainly one of the greatest 200-meter athletes you've ever seen. Elaine is quite possibly the best you've ever seen over a combination of 100 and 200. So it's like those are people on the graph that you just put to the side. They're really outliers in terms of stuff. And it becomes hard for others to break through. But at some point, there is a time for that. Yeah. Anderson says the best Shakari can do at Worlds is fifth. Again, I don't know how we can make that call yet, to be honest with you. It's just a bit too early to make any, at least for my liking. Unless you've seen something in the training that says she's not doing well and so on. But I don't really know how we can even make those calls, to be honest with you. Two, also, you have to give athletes who are proven, and she is the defending champion, and she also is an Olympic medalist. So and she's still young. Her cycle is moving in that direction as well. So I don't. It's very hard. I can't make a call like that. But I take your point, though. Angela says, happy for the twins. Need the younger ones to step up and remain relevant. Exactly. My sentiments exactly. Sophisticated says, TT Terry may show up as well. I believe so. I think you might get something from her. Uh, I figure for now, though, she's more of a relay runner. She may shock, though. She made the team last year with a sub 11. Yeah, you can't count them out. The Americans have a lot of depth. We see battle running really interestingly, but you don't know what you'll get. There's a bunch of youngsters that might come through to that. What's that woman that was at Oregon last year? Uh, yeah, I don't want to speculate right now, but I do think it's gonna be the case where, and in any given year, just to close the point out, you end up with people who are surprises because no one is really looking at them, and they come back in the mix, right? Yeah. Uh, Mindset. There's a youngster from Heidel who was training with Shakars. Can't remember. Oh, you mean Alana Reed? Yeah. I think she's interesting. Alana is very interesting. I think she moved right from from them. So I think, yeah, she won the world junior title last year again in, where was it? Is it in Peru? Yeah. Yeah, she did leave the camp. I can confirm that. Mark, but when we want flesh and okay, I guess you mean fresh new talents coming through to the front. Firstly, they have to be running better times than the likes of Shelly. Yeah, that's the only way they can come through, if they can beat them, right? Yeah. Vanson said, I wonder what Usain Bolt would have done in the javelin speed and bowling ability. Cricket playing nations do well in javelin. That's an interesting observation there. I don't know. I mean, he's very tall as well. You could imagine that he could get really good height to go. I guess we'll never know. Yeah. I it's a different sport as well, and I don't want to. But he has some of the. He definitely has the explosiveness. He has the quickness. You know, the strength is another thing you'd have to work on. But I imagine he could have. It probably would have been good if that was his thing. Yeah, I agree. The original Bi is strong. Jefferson will also be a threat. Brittany Brown and I. You can't count her out to over 200. Yeah, yeah. All right, what is this guy? It's a women's 1500 meters on track. I totally went to the comments instead of hanging watching some of this. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like Chepchirchir there and Gurma and Gemma Riki is in the race. I didn't even see who's in the lineup here. Yeah. Looks like they're on a final lap here of the women's 1500. Gurma is trying to make a step there, but it looks like Ricky is in this third position. Gemma Riki, Ijuri. But Chipchirchir is like moving ahead. She's stepping really good. I like the kind of her stride pattern here looks more like the world record holder over 800 meters for men. Yeah, Chepchirchir, she's gonna win this really comfortably. It's gonna be mid to low 405. So nothing super spectacular by times, but then again, we have to remember. I don't know what the temperature is now, but it's probably still warm. So Chipchirchir again ahead of Ejori, and I think it might be Gemariki. I have to look again. Yeah, and I don't think they're producing the right results here, to be honest with you. Perhaps I think Ejori may have had Gemarika's bib, because you know they have those things they put in the bib to track the athletes, because they had the wrong thing on the screen for a while. So 405 to 406 here, decent running. I think the results are updating better now. So I think the 100-meter results are finally back up now. We can put it on the screen if we want. Yeah, so that's decent. So, right. So 1092 to 1102. I'm just looking at it again. Hunt 1103, 1105. And Van der Verken was really there too, also at 1105, because it was very hard to separate. So, yeah. Kambunji with a 1149. That's interesting. I have to watch the race again because I wouldn't have anticipated that from the start. You know, so maybe she felt something. I can't even remember her looking at her in the picture, but we'll see. We'll look at it some more. When the Kenyan says it's too hot to go all out, you know it's hot. No, it is really hot. Plus, I don't know if the Kenyans even like the heat. You know, they like to train. They like to train in altitude too. But I know what you're saying. You know. Darren is saying it's 31 degrees, so 87. Oh, that's warm. That's very warm. Very warm. Yeah, so these distance times are actually really good. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see where we are. Let me try to get back to some of these things. We haven't seen Liston yet. Yeah, I want to see what we get from her. I mean, I think she's a super talented athlete, a lot more talented than we give her credit for. Uh, I see her. Why is GST changing form? That was going to be on my live show tonight. I'm going to discuss that again. But I'll say a couple things on it. I've said it before it started, because I think I've been coming off in circles as if I'm hating on Grand Slam track. I'm not. I think I like any kind of innovation in track and field because I want the sport to grow. But I'm also very realistic that sport is a business. It's not about empowering athletes. You know, that's the kind of talk they're making. I like those talks. I think it's not a non-profit. And but from this get go, before it even started, I was really concerned about a 3 day track and field meet with a lot of dead space, or 3 day track meet, to be honest with you. And I was complaining about it before, and I understand why they're trying this 3 day thing because of how they're doing the league structure. And I think if you're the distance guys, it becomes much more problematic for you to just want to run back to back days. And I see, from a logistics perspective, there, I get it. But when you have so much empty space, because there's not a lot of action on the track, it's like 30 minutes of action or 40 minutes of action when you do the total of it. It's not a great spectacle. And I think, I think that's part of the reason there. They're couching it as if they, tight stuff up and they're listening to fans, and people can't afford to give 3 days of their life. I get it. But plus, it's not cheap. If I'm being honest with you, and Franklin Field, to operate Franklin Field next, it's gonna cost them a lot of money, And if you're gonna do it for 3 days, there's these baseline stuff, and if you can't sell the place out, it's gonna be challenging as well. And I know they're operating at a loss for a period of time, but you need more, and that's why field events actually help. Field events should never be a sideshow at a track meet, so I don't want. But when you intersperse that with track events, then there's always something happening, and it's packaged better for TV. So I think that's part of it, but we can talk more about it later. Sophisticated. I forgot about Brittany Brown, and thanks for talking to us. Sports out there. We have such a good comment. Yeah. Appreciate it. I'd always like to chat. I know there's always a lot of people who watch track and field. Most of the time I watch track and field, I don't even listen to the commentary. I'm just like watching. And so I know a lot of people are like that. So that's why I like to come and do some of these. Where am I? Tamara Davis might give TT problems. Yeah, I think the US are stuck with a lot of athletes. Mackenzie Long might come this year and do something interesting over a couple of events. Looks like Shelby Ewan here just went over 226. And where am I? Yeah, I do value the comment section. But thanks. Carvin Johnson, blessings to all. Hope to see some good 100-meter times. Well, we had some already, I guess, if you think about it. Tomorrow going to be a special day as well. Adidas, and then later on in the nights, early morning, if you're in East Coast time or on this side of the hemisphere, you will have that meet in Japan. And I think Kristen Coleman is there too, along with Shakari and a few others. So maybe a Sunday afternoon, we might be able to unpack that kind of stuff. Yeah. So we have the men's 200 meters on track right now. And there's Courtney Lindsay there in lane 8. Toboga is in 7. Fambule, King, Tortu, Brown, Masangawe, sorry, and Vias. Yesterday, good running too yesterday from Sharamba in that 200 meters there, and the college stuff. So it's going to be interesting. I'm surprised that Tobogo is in lane 7. Did he favor that lane and not take lane 6? This is not a 10-lane track, not 9-lane track, is it? I'm gonna watch this in a second. I like this Maswangani kid. I think he has a lot of potential too. I mean, South Africa is pushing through a bunch of talented athletes too. Ferdinand says, I like to watch you, Usain and Chris Gale together. Favorite batsman. All right. Let me watch this race and I'll get back. I promise to get back to all of your comments. Let's see what we get from Let's See Little Boga. I anticipate that he should win this comfortably. He's probably going to shut down as usual. So like settle in the blocks right now. It's a clean start. And Let's See Little Boga is not running the curve as hard as I thought it would be. He's actually not. He's coming off slightly. No, he's not slightly ahead. No, but Toboga is not pushing. He's now pushing now. He's going to win this. He's looking sideways. Why does Letsili do this? He just looked to his right and then he stopped running. 20.10. Didn't look like he was running hard. Didn't run the curve as good as I anticipated. I like to see them run the curve harder, then you can shut it down. But he just kind of just stopped running and looked across, which is reminiscent of his days from a junior athlete. But I don't know if I like this though. I think he didn't get out well. He didn't run the curve hard at all. But he was, I think, maybe slightly in the lead. I need to see another angle. And then gets to like 170 and he just stopped running. Then he eases up. He could have been pipped again. I'm not sure I like this kind of style from Letsili. But he wasn't really running though. Yeah. I was doing that on the fly. Mindset. I don't think Tobago is in the best shape. I don't know if I think he's in good shape in terms of background work. Maybe he's not in the best sprint shape at the moment, but he had some really good 400 meters. I mean, if he really ran this hard enough, he could have probably run a 19.9 for sure, but he shut down really early. Let me get back up to some of these comments here. Cheryl says, anyone with news on Nkrumah? I'm not sure. I think we might see him at Racers Track. We'll see in June 6th. We may. I'm not 100% sure though. Mark says Grand Slam track is boring, doesn't have the strongest athletes competing, too much empty spaces, weak athletes competing for money. That's all that is. Very tough assessment there, but I'm not 100% sure. I disagree with all. I think there's a lot of that I agree with. There's parts of Grand Slam that looks a little bit continental tourish, and then other parts that looks okay. And we'll see. It gives you a whole weekend of track, but no, I think it has to be a tighter package though. There's a lot of dead space. Mindset. I'm just worried that Liston might have a little problem with injuries. I think since her time at LSU, she's picked up a few niggles, shut it down last year as well. I don't know. I hope that's not the case. Yeah. The original BI strength. For one, it's too spread out to watch. Track is basically a boring sport with bursts of excitement, but the dead air has me tune out for 3 days. Yeah, it's very hard to follow that, but we'll talk about it. Where's Abby Steiner? Good question. I don't know. Actually, I thought she was on the men to come back, but not quite sure. It looks like McEwen won this at 226. Or I don't know if he's actually won it, but yeah. Mindset. Are we going to use the racers track meet to try and qualify the 4x1? I think that's what I saw that in the newspapers. It's tough that that's what it comes down to, but they need some relays. They need some meets to get into. I think maybe a couple. There's a couple diamond leagues that might have a qualification, have some relays, but the challenge is, can you get everybody in the same space? As I mentioned on the last live, I was thinking the Jamaican men need to try and run 37.9, maybe 30. I think 37.8 will definitely secure a spot. You don't want to be flirting with times. And I think the I think the women should be fine in the 4x4 for qualification based on the world ranking because it extends. Whoa, Chopper he. I think Nira Chopper just did a 90-meter here. Ooh, it might be short of 90 meters, but it looks pretty close. It's 90-23. Actually, it is 90-23. So Chopper just went to a world lead of 90-23. That is a fabulous throw there. Massive world lead there from him. He looks a relief, man. Peters 85-64, 85-57 for yeah, for Weber, and Walcott is at 84-65. Ooh, that's pretty good there from Weber. Yeah, back to that point. I think yeah, they need to find a way to qualify. Belmos knows who is 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess I missed that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a big 89.06 for Weber too. That's a massive throw. So that moves him into second. So I think we have one more track event on the track, if I'm not mistaken. Or one more track event. No, no, that's not true. There's two more. We have the 400 hurdles for men. Uh, that should be good. We got Malik James King there, Bergstrom, Smith, CJ Allen. It's not the most competitive field. I don't think anyone is challenging the world lead or even uh, the Santos's meet record. So two more track events, and then the steeplechase for women should be good. I think the entire podium from Paris is here. You got Chematai, you got Yavi, should be really good here. I think, yeah. Cheritich is also there as well. So there, yeah, that should be a good 3,000 meter steeplechase. Let's see where we are. All in the game, here in the house. Yes, Neeraj, change of coach to the great Jan Zelensky is already paying off. Oh yeah, that's true. That is true. Zelensky, probably the best we've ever seen. Uh that 90 point something there is really good. Really nice throw in there. Let's see where we are. Objective. If you want to guess who would be Brianna's coach, I'm thinking Corey Bennett because he left Calabar. It's just my guess. Interesting. Yeah. Finally in the 90-meter club. Yeah, the 90-meter club is how many people in the 90-meter club? It's not a lot, right? Off the top of my head, I obviously the Pakistani guy did it last year. I think Diego has a 90-meter. Peterson too, right? In recent years, if we're thinking about in recent years, I hate to do track stats off the top of my head, especially as I get older. I don't remember anything. Let's see. Of it, yeah. So there is yeah. So then there's Zelensky, obviously, at almost 100 meters, 98.48. Veta, those happen. And there's that German guy who did it too, I guess. Yeah. So quite a few guys in the 90-meter club. Yeah. Even Walcott is in the 90-meter club. Yeah. Yeah. Let me get back to some of these coming. I think you mean racist Grand Prix, not racist, but I know what you mean. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that, but I don't know what they'll do. But they need to figure out some other ways to run too. Yeah. Van Zyl says Sean has competition in South Africa this year. We have lots of talent, even in the 400 meters. Okan Pile Nene 17, and I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, I think I like what I'm seeing from South Africa. The 4x4, you get, Wade can find some form. They'll be really good as well. I think mindset. I'm definitely proud of Jamaica's improvement in the field events in recent years. It's a great look. I think so too. What's the status on the Olympic champion over discus? The, is he is he still pursuing this NFL thing? I haven't checked recently. All in the game is saying Van Zyl, replying to Van Zyl, just need Wade back in 44.08 shape like he was in 2023. Yeah, if Wade can get back to super fast times, then they'll be really special as well. Yeah. I do like what I'm seeing. I think they need to work on the kid there in the 100 meters. I don't. His form is all over the place. He- ever since I saw him at the Junior Championships, but he could be an interesting athlete. I don't know what his ceiling is as well. Yeah, yeah. So 400-meter hurdles on the track. Not the fastest of athletes present here. Maybe Malik James King, I think, comes in with the fastest time of the last time I checked. But world lead is 47.28 by Varham. I don't think anyone's touching that. And the meeting record is safe beyond measure because it's 46.886. So Allen is already up on Malik James King. It's almost like King is in reverse here. But it looks like Allen is out there. And then the Turkish dude is also running really well. He might be ahead. So Akam is moving. CJ Allen is now in second. Ooh. So Akan is in the lead. CJ Allen, I think, might make an extra step. Malik James King has fallen and he's gone. Ooh. Oh. The Norwegian guy looked like he won this. This was really slow. 49.33. I don't know who won this. Oh, Sibila won this, yeah. 49.32. Not really the greatest race and to watch. I'm all confused right now. I got to watch this again. At one point, Schmidt looked like he was doing something. Allen and Akan looked like they were going to win this, or at least in the top two. Then something happened. Did they hit a hurdle? No. So Sibilia wins this. And Nizir there from out in lane one, I think, was also pushing. So the Italian athlete won this. It's not a great race, but you know. And then Malik James King got up and finished the race. I think he probably got up to make sure he got to earn his paycheck. Let's see where we are here. All in the game. Shelly coming fourth in 11:05 proves my point the other day that Jamaica's order should have been Shelly to Tina to Sharika to Tia. Interesting. I definitely think, even with the speed issue, I think having her on the first leg is always good. But I just I feel like we're gonna get into this whole complaint. I feel I don't know what they did in China. In the At the end of the day, I guess the women's 4x1 was the better of, the uh, 2 days of what can only be considered a disaster. But I agree with you on many fronts. They're all in the game that the order needs to be sorted out at some point. Uh, this is Weber here again. Ooh, that's a really good throw from Julian Weber. That's probably close to 90 meters too. This could be a PB for him. 89, 84. Big throw in there. Bellamus objectivity. Well, from what you heard, Adidas is not demanding as Nike as far as their athletes. You just have to show up at their meets. Interesting. Yeah, and Nike has two meets. That the Prefontaine is one on this side, and then there's the other one that they have for like European athletes that they must show up for. Not necessarily for European athletes, but they put it there. Sophisticated. I hope Wade can come back. It's surprising he only did 200 in the Olympics in 2024, considering the top 5 spots were all 43 low mids. It would have been hard for him to podium. Yeah, the 400 is an interesting space as well. I thought Karani would have gotten on the podium and he didn't. Eh, I like it. I like when we make these predictions and then other people win. Sometimes that's the beauty of sport. It's not predictable. So we have one more track event. I want to check some results that I didn't finish looking at in the field events because I was looking a lot in the comment section, which is brilliant. And I don't like I'm complaining about the live results from Doha. I don't think their system is working as efficiently as it should. Sometimes the results aren't coming through the way you want. Mindset. Even with the kind of prize money in Grand Slam, it will take a while for Grand Slam to catch up to the Diamond League. I don't think it can catch up to the Diamond League, if I'm being honest with you. I just don't. From a spectacle standpoint, maybe it can catch up or not. It depends on how we determine that. But from a spectacle standpoint, there's just too many great stuff happening at a Diamond League event, right? And both on the field and on the track. So that's hard to. And then there's more athletes there. Here it's a smaller pool of athletes and unless they can crack the the sponsorship hurdles and have people come in, could be tough. All in the game, Yavi was just 0.07 seconds from breaking the 3000K steeplechase world record last year. Crazy how close she got. Yeah, she is. And I think all the podium is here, right, for this last race. So I want to see it. I'm sticking around for this one. Then I got to do some stuff. It's sad that Veta got injured. One of the best javelin throwers ever. Yeah, he's really good. All time great, I think. Well, distance wise. Quincy all just came back and he was last place. I think he'll be ready for Worlds, assuming he's healthy. Yeah, we saw him in that Diamond League race. Didn't look good at all. But that's what. But yeah, like you said, his first race. Uh, I don't know where he is in his preparation, but he clearly had injuries rather. That's another big throw there from Chopra, but nothing to challenge the 90. Yeah, meter. All in the game. Better through 97.76, which is insane. Yeah, he's outrageous. I think, I don't know. That that was what? When did he do this? That he did that what? Like 5 years ago, 6 years, 5 years ago? Yeah. What time will be your live? I'm going live tonight. I think 8 p.m. We're coming back to kind of wrap up some stuff here, even though we've talked about most of this, but we'll have some more perspective, I guess. Yeah. Oh my God, Weber is just he. I think he's just gone further than Neeraj Chopra right now. That has to be 93 or 94. 9106. 9106. Sorry, I didn't mean 90. I don't know what I was saying about 93, 94. But 9106. The javelin throw is hotting up there. That is ridiculous. Mindset, from what I'm hearing, let's see what Peter's done. No, that's a little bit in the 80s there for Anderson Peterson. For Anderson Peters, rather. Mindset, from what I hear, a lot of US athletes don't like traveling because it's hard on their bodies, so they prefer to run Grand Slam. I mean, I suspect, yeah, you would probably want to be in yeah. And that's why some people end up basing in Europe for a while. Then you have other people who don't like to go over there at all. I think uh, Bobby Kersey hates that. He doesn't like the European track. I don't know if he hates it, but I don't think he favors that kind of travel. But that's different. But he's a interesting kind of guy. Thanks, Sophisticated, for pointing that out. Yeah, yeah. Good audience there for sure. All in the game is saying poor Neeraj finally throws 90 meters and loses. Yeah, it is. That's the tough thing about the sport. He joins the club and then he doesn't win. That was a big throw there from Beba though. That's a massive throw. What will we get from this 3,000 meters here? Yavi, as all in the game pointed out, was just outside of the world record. Uh, really great performance last year. You have Chemutai. She might be on the decline. I don't know. And then Cheritis. So those are the big three this year from Paris. Back at the Diamond League here. I anticipate it should be a cracker. It's a warm night there, so who knows how fast they'll take it out. But it, regardless, it should be good competition. Yeah. I hope UM Blake can redeem himself on running the 4x4 and bringing Jamaica into qualifying spot. I don't know. So I think you need to line up a team of Oblique Seville, Akeem Blake, uh, Thompson. I'll probably even have Watson over Johan and on that team if you can figure it out, or Brian Level or so at the moment. But I don't. I enjoy your evening. I'll catch up with you guys. Yeah. Hopefully, see you back later on. All in the game, son. As predicted, GST went from 3 to 2 days. Only surprise they changed in mid-season and cut 3K and 5K down to just 3. Yeah, I as a spectacle, I don't think it was working. And in principle, I'm not against a 3-day track and field meet. It's like watching a World Championships or Olympics, but you have to have a lot of things going on. So there's a Pesa there. There's the Wave Light. I'm not quite sure what they're bringing it out on. And I don't know if anybody knows what they asked for, but it's Yavi's right now in like 5th position or so. Yeah. Sophisticated says Fort ran a blister in 8.9 for a split, so he's basically challenging the 100. I didn't know who he was until last. Oh, yeah, Julian Fort's been around for a long time. He's just always suffering with a lot of injury. Where did he get the relay splits? I haven't seen the relay splits. Uh, yeah, all in the game is pointing out that Fort is too injury prone. Not a good idea to rely on him. Yeah. Good shout out to Mindset here, replying to Sophisticated One. So I think that's Almeyu there, right behind the Pesa. I think Cheritich, and they just switched to the Javelin. So I don't know. So we're just like 2 minutes and changing. I'm not sure what they asked for on the Pesa, but it looks like the Pesa is gonna step out now. This is at 1,000 meters at 3 minutes 01. The big names are pushing up on the Pesa, so I'm wondering if the Pesa is running too slow or she's about to drop out. I suspect we should get a world lead though. World lead this year is 9-10, I think. Yavi's I'm not quite sure where okay, so Yavi's in like 5th. So the Pacer steps off the track right now. And so it's Almeyu, looks like Chertich, then Chemutai, then Yavi. In the meantime, let's see. Mindset going to get my son from Similar says, what time you? I'll be on late. I think I'll be on about 8 o'clock tonight. I think. Yeah, we'll catch up with you. Mindset. I hope GST can stick around, but with them making changes like this, it makes me think they may have to decrease from 4 slams to 2 next year, so it's easy on them. I I don't know. I think they'll have to reevaluate. I think they have to reevaluate the spectacle where they do it. I, Look, from an optics perspective, I think Miami looked better, but it's a smaller stadium. It's like a 5,000 capacity, and they still didn't sell out every seat. So that can be challenging. Yeah. 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 All right, let's see here. It says Charitive Almeyu Chamatayave. That's like 507. I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm trying to guess how fast they're gonna run this, but I don't even know how far they're in the race. The big three are there now. So 5:37. They might be on course for like a sub 9 minutes. Should be. All in the game. Philly Slam in that big stadium will be the real test. Yeah, I don't know if they can. Hmm. Franklin Field holds 30 something thousand people, I believe. Is it? Yeah, I've been there a few times. Let me check. Franklin. Actually, I'm wrong on that. I think it's 60 something thousand that holds in Franklin. Okay, so it's 5295. That's the current capacity in Franklin Field. Hi, Sonia. Good to see you. 52,000. So usually in Franklin Field, there's the very upper level. Even at Penn Relays, sometimes that's empty. And sometimes you get a few people there. Or Penn Relays back in the day, you had a lot more people. When you had like USA versus Jamaica, that kind of big relay stuff, you would get a lot of people in the top part of Penn Relays. But if you can fill the second level of of Franklin Field, not the very high, then as a spectacle, I think it would look good all in the game because the camera wouldn't have to point all the way up to the very top. But I suspect there might be tons of empty spaces in Franklin Field. It's in Philly. It's not. It's a very. It's tough crowd in terms of like. There's a lot of competition for a lot of entertainment too. I don't know what they're doing with ticket sales, and I've said this before. For your track and field meet to be successful, you have to also have fans in the stand because that gives you uh makes people who watch on television want to come. So that might be a trouble. All right, I'll see you guys later. See you later. Mindset. Yeah, I'll try to. I'm gonna be back on later on. Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, I talked briefly about that all in game, but I'm gonna go over some of that stuff tonight again. Hopefully on the recap live. Yeah, I'm. That's not good. But Ramon, check. That's not good. All right, they're on the final lap here of this 3,000 meters. So let me see. So Yavi starts to step up now, and Cheritix is right beside her. So final water jump here, and it's like Yavi and Cheritich, and Chematai I think is a distance, but Yavi is now stepping away. She's gonna win this. Ooh, maybe not. Yeah. Oh, she's struggling. Oh, the youngster's coming back. Ah, Cheritix wins this ahead of Yavi, who is sprinting backway 9:05:08, which is a world lead. I thought at first they would go sub 9 minutes, but 9:05:08 there. Yeah. No, I agree. They have to find a ways to pack the crowd all in the game. Yeah. But yeah. So Yavi didn't step off on the final hurdle well enough for me. She lost her balance and couldn't regain her sprint form. And so Cheritage takes this at 905.08 ahead of Yavi 905.26. And Almayu at 909.27. And I don't know what happened to Chematai. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, this has been good. I have to run for a quick thing. I have to go meet some people and do some other stuff. I'll be back tonight to do a recap and talk about some of the stuff that's on tap. Maybe talk about what we'll see tomorrow. Maybe you guys can help with a preview for the Atlanta City games. We can get more into more detail on Grand Slam track shifting to 2 days. We can get more detail into the provisional suspension of Bekram on check and all of that stuff. And yeah, they're also all in the game. They're also going to be saving money on the stadium and the cost of operating a stadium of that size and the security and the maintenance and all of that. So I think they'll be saving some money there. We'll see. But anyway, it's my pleasure, guys. I really appreciate you guys hanging out for this, and I'll catch up with you later. I'll be back tonight. Bye-bye.